Hello, I'm Bernard Keevy. Now, here I have a pictorial representation of the human brain, and there's three key bits to it. There's what's called the reptilian brain, which is the old, it's basically the oldest part of the brain, if you like, and this is where the fight and flight response comes from. Then the next bit that develops is the mammalian brain, which is where we feel emotion. Professor Stephen Peters, the chimp paradox, refers to this as the chimp brain. So this is the emotional brain. And then there's the rational human added on bit, if you like, the human brain up here, which is the cortex, and the neocortex, which is the top bit. And basically they're in three layers. Now the thing is that the reptilian brain is where we feel fear, and then the mammalian brain is where we experience emotions, and then the human brain is where we sort of balance it all up, if you like, and make rational decisions. So if we want to actually sell to people, we need to actually work on the three bits of the brain. So the first thing we need to overcome, the most primitive primeval thing, is fear. So down here there's fear. So if we're trying to sell to someone, the first thing we've got to do is remove the fear factor. And the way you remove the fear factor, there's a few things really. The first thing is, there's a bloke called Tom Schreiter, Big Al he calls himself, and he talks about the salesperson alarm. So the first thing you've got to do is not come across as a salesperson, because as soon as someone perceives you as trying to sell them something, you trigger off the fear bit in this part of the brain, and that's the end of the process. So you need a way of establishing rapport here without triggering the fear. And you can do that in various ways. You can use what are called icebreakers. You can establish rapport, and you can also do things like have social proof and cast iron guarantees. And all of those things are designed to remove the fear bit. And once you've removed the fear, you can move up a bit. And the next thing you get to, round about here, I suppose, is knowing and trusting someone. So you've got to actually get to the stage where you're trusted, and that's to do with establishing rapport. It's to do with repeated points of contact. That's why it's often reckoned that you need 8, 12 plus points of contact. Once you've got past there, you've then got to work on them liking you and liking your product. Well, the way you do that is by things like mirroring their behaviour, being like them, because people like people who are like themselves, and also getting them to want what it is that you're trying to sell to them. You need to ask questions, and you need to listen to the answer, and all of those things get you further on the lines of getting them to want something and also trusting you. And then obviously you've got to listen to the responses, which again develops rapport, and you've got to be able to close. And then finally up here, they've got to justify what they've bought, because so far it's all emotional, and they'll have bought based on emotion, but then they have to justify it based on rational thought, on logic. And that's where you need things like prompt fulfillment. You need to actually do what you say you were going to do. You need to have things like congratulatory letters, congratulations on your purchase, all the things that can reassure people that they've made the right decision. So if you understand that you're moving up through these three stages of the brain here, it then makes a lot of sense as to why you need to move up through these stages here in your sales process. So you're starting from overcoming fear, you're talking to get trust, you're trying to get trust and rapport, and then you're trying to get desire through questioning and listening to the answers. And you're doing all of that before you can hope that they'll buy. And even when they've bought, you're now still at the emotional stage, so they need to be able to justify what they bought from you on rational grounds. So I think it makes sense that the two things sort of mirror each other. If you wanted to know how you could offer business coaching or advisory services to your clients, if you're an accountant, a CPA or an existing coach, how you can offer a 200% return on investment guarantee where they don't pay you if you don't deliver that, then have a look at a short video, 8-minute video on www.coachforprofit.com/Bernard. And if you think it's interesting and if you'd like to talk further, just get in touch according to the link. So in summary, if you understand the three stages, or the three levels, if you like, of evolution of the human brain, then by working up from the most primitive bit to the next primitive bit to the most modern bit, working through that way when you are trying to sell to them, that gives you more chance of being successful than if you go right in up here without having overcome the fear factor down here. I hope that makes sense. If you thought that was useful, then obviously if you could like it and share it, that would be great. And thank you very much for watching. I'm looking to recruit a business coach in order to help me handle existing global demand for business coaching services. And in particular, I'm looking for someone to run our Northeast US division. If you're interested in finding out more about this opportunity, which involves absolutely no financial risk or upfront investment, then go to coachforprofit.com/Bernard, watch a short 8-minute video, and if you think there's anything of interest there, then book a time and let's talk. And thank you very much for showing interest in this opportunity.